Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Yinzer Brothers podcast. I'm TJ, and I'm here with my brother Tim, and we are the Yinzer Bros. And as you can see, if you're watching the YouTube version of this, because of the victory, the Steelers did beat the Broncos this week. It was a great, marvelous victory, 27-19. Tim is donning the Franco's Italian Army hard helmet. It looks good. Tim, how does that baby fit? You haven't worn it a lot this year.
Oh, dude, I was fighting rats and raccoons in the basement. They were living in there. They were like, "Man, no, this is ours now." I said, "No, no, 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 no." I was like, "We got to bring this bad boy out."
That's right. And Tim is also, his background is Jesus Christ holding a terrible towel. I can't think of a better, more fitting thing, Tim, than what you have back there now.
TJ, I mean, he was at the game. I don't know what to say.
Hey, maybe there's a thing there. So that looks good. So today we're going to be talking about the Steelers' victory over the Broncos. We're also going to look ahead to the Steelers game against the Seahawks coming up. But let's start again with the beautiful victory, 27-19. It's good to see us have more points than maybe like 14 or 13 points.
I was getting quite nervous because I thought like everything that I said about the whole blowout was like going to happen. I was like, no, this is just something weird is going to happen. And then, it did. By the end of the fourth quarter, by fourth quarter time, I'm sitting there with shirtless, standing, watching the TV. You just can't. I don't remember the last time that I was actually just able to sit down and just sit the whole game and just be happy.
I know, and we didn't get that. I mean, they made it tighter in the end than it needed to be. But let's just say, it looks like the Steelers, they put some things on track. I mean, the Broncos were 3-1, but let's just be real, they didn't really play anybody.
They stink, TJ. I know you got fans out in Denver. That team stinks.
Well, they do, but they had a couple guys. Like I was impressed with, pretty much how they neutralized Von Miller. He was a non-factor for the most part.
I know. I was like complaining about Chuk and stuff like that the whole entire game. I come back and I'm realizing like he was blocking Von Miller the whole entire game. So I mean, he did actually play pretty well. So
he did. He handled his business. And what did you think of the offense?
I mean, it's good. The offensive line played great when they're running the ball. That's their formula. Najee Harris is a monster. TJ, he is monster. He is. I mean, I know one of our first podcasts said he was a Matt Forte clone. You are drunk if you think he's a Matt Forte clone. That dude he's a different animal, TJ. He is. You got to see him this week actually get to the second level. And when he's in stride, you see him going up against those safeties and those cornerbacks, and he just looks like a beast. These are his stats for Sunday. He's 23 carries, 122 yards, 5.3 yards a carry. He had 2 catches for 20 yards, but he just looked great in space. He looks like he's figuring it out, and he runs heavy and hard. He just looks great. Let me ask you a question, because I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
Where's this going, Tim?
I mean, I was brutally nervous at the end of the game when he's like holding his legs, and I'm going, oh crap, because you got your little Benny Snell experience, and I'm going, not this again. No. So like, can't you just shoot him up full of fluids? Because they said he had this problem at Alabama. But I'm saying, can't you do it before the game and just make he's I don't understand.
You should. You should. I think so. Some of the things that happen, and this is crazy. You get athletes like, Bo Jackson had some issues with this too. They are so muscular.
I understand
have such things. They're just
those
muscles just suck water. It's just crazy. But I'm with you. IV that guy. Get him out there, man.
I mean, I understand. My muscles, they suck water. Every once in a while, I feel like I'm cramping. But I don't have the availability to an IV drip. I would figure he would be in an IV drip just getting B12 shot into him all morning.
He should. I can almost guarantee the training staff this week is going to take a different hydration approach, but he is. I tell you, when he gets out on the field, I don't know if you remember the one play he was running. It was a sweep right somewhere, maybe a little counter tray or something. And he made one little stutter step to the linebacker. He just ran right past him.
I know.
He should not be that nimble for how big he is.
I know. He's incredible. He's incredible, man.
And because we were running the ball, it put Ben right in his sweet spot. These were Ben's stats. He was 15 for 25. 25 pass attempts. That's it. 253 yards, 2 TDs. You keep him in that 20 to 25 range, it's all good. I mean, it's
in
good,
the
baby.
middle of the field wasn't full of complete lava. He was actually throwing the ball in the middle of the field a little bit.
That's true. Well, you know what you do? I mean, if you can run the ball, these guys just can't. They can't just tee off on the passes. So it was a balanced attack. Ben, again, I'll be honest with you. Ben he threw some pretty poor balls. He looked better than he has, but you could tell again. Hopefully that his happy feet settled down a little bit more this week. But the line did great. The offense had total almost 400 yards total. And here's the other stat that was kind of interesting. You know, Presley Harvin had a rough game the game before.
Yeah,
he had 2 kicks, almost 50 or almost 60 yards average for 2 punts.
I know, TJ. He was creeping. He was creeping to the list. I was going. You can't have Jordan Berry out punch you like all year. But no, he was booming the ball, man.
So let's talk a little bit about the line a little bit. What did you like about the offensive line this week?
I thought everybody played good, but then there's the only dudes I question about is the center, man. He's in high motor all the time, but like you can be high motor and just like be missing blocks. Like there's a lot of times I can see him like he gets blown off and then he like finishes. I'm like, I don't know how good he is or not, dude. I just don't know. Everybody else I think played fairly well. I mean, I don't know like what you're going to do with Banner. If you're just going to throw him into the starting lineup. I don't know if you can. But I don't know if he's any good anyways, TJ. Seriously, I don't.
He's a big man.
Everybody's like, you know, claiming he's like Hulk and he's like he's going to be like, you know, I don't know. He could stink too. And I could be sitting here like, dude, you're number one unless you stink.
Well, let me ask you a question. So if the line is gelling, do you mess with it?
No, you don't mess with it. You let him sit and just say, hey, right now you're going to be the swing guy, or if we need to run some heavy sets, they finally got a guy they can bring in and kind of what he did before. He did that before when I think it's how he kind of broke in when the line was older a couple of years ago. He was that guy they bring in the goal line and maybe throw a pass him or just like have for an extra block or something like that. I don't know.
He's a big man. I also like too what they're doing. We're seeing a lot more. Like in this game specifically, 2 and 3 tight end sets. But they're using. I mean, it's interesting how they're using Gentry and they're using some of these guys.
They got to get Freiermuth the ball more, man. They have to. TJ, I mean, again, stunned again. Paddle hands caught 2 passes.
He did.
I'm beginning to think that is not paddle hands in that uniform. That is Gus from the steel mills. They just grabbed him. Somebody in the parking lot like jumped paddle hands and like they snuck into his uniform. I don't know, but like when he's catching balls, you're kind of going, he may have a chance to win when he's catching balls.
Oh yeah. Well, let's just be real. I mean, I don't consider him necessarily a tight end. I think he's just a big slot receiver. To me, that's what he looks like. You know. But I got to tell you this: his Freiermuth's blocking looks pretty solid. Gentry's blocking is solid. You know, he's a big dude. And then you got Ebron's getting better. You know, he's still not. I wouldn't consider him juggernaut. You know who surprised me a lot with his blocking was Claypool. You know, he kind of slid into the slot.
TJ, he's 6'3", like 240.
He's a good blocker. Holy cow!
He's ginormous. He's as big as linebackers. He should be. And he's coming from their blind side. He should be cleaning people's clocks.
He should. So
does he look like a ginormous avatar on the field a little bit?
He does. He does look like an avatar. He got the hair and everything like that. Yeah. So what did you think of the defensive performance against the Broncos?
I didn't think it was good. I still don't think it was good. I mean, they were getting ran on for a decent amount, but like their secondary, I mean, I know people were banged up, but dude, they weren't getting any pressure.
No.
At all.
Where was Watt? Watt seemed like he was non-existent.
I think all of them, all the outside guys were non-existent. And then, dude, Devin Bush, I mean, a part of the growing club. What is going on with the growing club? I mean, again, I don't know if I'd give my groin to Devin Bush, but I would. I would. But like, you got some.
Would Devin take it, Tim? Would he really even take your groin?
No.
Now I heard he's practicing again, so I think he'll be okay.
I hope so, but like, dude, did you see when he got hurt? It looked like it was like phantom. He didn't touch anybody, and he went down. And I was kind of like, dude, that looked bad. But like, the dude can't stay healthy, TJ. If you can't stay healthy, and you're top, they trade up that could set you behind like years.
I know. Well, think about what happened when they lost to Shazier. That set us behind too. I mean, he was supposed to be the guy for a long time.
The one thing that I didn't understand well, there's two things that I didn't see. This was the first time that I saw it. That I was like quite impressed. Was they actually had Watt, Ingram, and Highsmith all on the field at the same time,
They
which was
did.
kind of wild to see that. Because Ingram just like anytime you see him on the field, he just like sticks out like the Terminator. Like you're expected to look like you're just looking at him like that dude is about to rip somebody's face off.
He's a good pickup.
But why is even when Bush was
Why is Spillane in
healthy, why is TJ of all the downs for Spillane to just be putting him in third down like
Yeah,
TJ he can't cover he can't cover the grass.
I know.
It's everywhere. What are you doing? Like is Butler and those guys like what are they thinking? Like maybe what do they do? I don't understand.
I don't know either. The only thing I can think of is he might be just the lone run stopper because they got so many deep backs on the field. I don't know.
TJ on third down, you put him in there.
It's scary. I don't know.
It was third down and 100. He's in the middle. I'm going, what the hell is happening? All I had was some visions of covering the guy from Cleveland, like the best receiver from Cleveland. I'm going, here it comes, 3rd and 15.
Yeah,
he's gonna get beat
good
on a swing and just get annihilated by a running back somewhere.
It's not good, no. Yeah, it's weird. And every once in a while they'll rotate Watt off on those key downs too. I'm like, guys, get Watt out there, give him a break, a breath on first down, not third.
There was a point in time in that last drive, like Watt wasn't out there for like 6 plays straight. I'm going, did he get hurt? Did he pull a groin again? Did he join the groin club? And he would just sit on the sidelines. I'm going, what is going on? Like, no.
I almost wonder if if they were kind of, maybe we didn't hear a lot from him because maybe he's still kind of nursing that groin a little bit.
TJ, I don't care when you're the last drive and trying to save the game, let him be a decoy. Just throw him out there. You
right.
can't, dude. You can't. I'm going. I mean, no. You're getting paid a lot of money. Just I don't know. Kick somebody in the crotch or do something.
Do something. Well, let's talk a little bit about the secondary. For the game, what did you think of Pierre's performance, man? He did good. St. Pierre.
He was up and down. He got burned. I mean, he got burned one play. He got burned on TD one time. I mean, he was up and down. I know. I heard Butler. I can't listen to Butler. I can only read like people dissect it or what he says.
You need an interpreter.
Yeah, basically, it's like subtitles when he talks underneath. But like, they said something about him being upset because Pierre looks at the quarterback too fast when he's in coverage. Like he'll look in the backfield too fast when the covering or something weird. And I saw like a play. And I'm kind of going, okay, that makes sense. Like he looks at the quarterback before paying attention to the receiver. I'm kind of going, dude, what are you doing? Don't do that. But he was okay. 35 Millette. He's actually started growing me a little bit. I don't know. Like I didn't like him last week. This week but this could go flip it could flip the whole entire quarter next week. I'd be like, dude, stinks. I don't think they were bad, TJ. I mean, they're missing Cam Sutton, who's a pretty big piece, I think, to that secondary. And I didn't think they were awful. TJ, and oh God, I can't believe I'm doing this. 34 has been good this year, dude.
He has. He's been very good.
And I'm going to myself. I'm going, yeah, he's been good this year. And it stinks. I can't. He's actually covering tight ends.
He is.
And like he covered Fayette, who's a very good tight end, and Fayette didn't do anything.
Yeah, he did good.
It's almost making me sick.
Let's just be real too. I mean, the Broncos' offense is not like a juggernaut offense. I mean, they were who we expected them to be. The Steelers finally put some things together. So I don't know. It's a good victory for us.
Again, TJ, like I said last week, I put it this way: when I was watching, and it made it even worse that Cincinnati lost and Cleveland lost, and
Baltimore should have lost.
And I'm going, once that we reached that Baltimore game at night and they're getting hammered, like TJ, I had all feet back on the ship. I was like, this is it. It's fate. And then when Baltimore came back, I took a foot off. So I'm like 1-1. I just know it's going to happen. I could see it. I could see it. Just they're going to pummel Seattle. You're going to go into the bye. It's going to be Cleveland week coming out of that bye. People are going to be running their mouths. Blah, 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 blah. I wouldn't be stunned if they win their next 4 games, because they go they go Seattle, Cleveland, Bear, Detroit, and 3 out of 4 of those at home. like I said, I think Cleveland, they're either teeth kicked in or they're actually going to, they may blow them out for some apparent reason. The only reason I kind of thought they may win is like they're coming off the bye. Got a week to
Yeah.
prepare for Cleveland. You're going to get a little bit healthy. Dude, I just know what's going to happen. Like I said, I think they're going to be one of them teams all year that just they'll win like 3 or 4, then lose 2 or 3. By the end of the season, you're like going, dude, I need Jacksonville to beat the Chiefs for the Steelers to get in the playoffs. You're going,
Maybe, I don't know. I think you're right. I think that's the vibe. I think we have a good enough team. We're not an awful team. It's when you get the offense rolling. I mean, when the offense rolls, it makes the defense better. So it was a good showing. Let's take a look at the Seahawks real quick. The Seahawks are 2-3. You are nervous about Russell Wilson, but he's not going to be there, which is great. Their 2 wins were against Indy and San Fran. Their losses were to Tennessee, Minnesota, and LA. LA's 4-1. The other guys aren't that great.
Have you seen this? Like Russell Wilson's he's like a day off of surgery and he's like running through drills with one hand. I'm going,
he's a man. He's a man.
I don't know. I'd be on so many painkillers. It would be unreal.
He's a man. So we know that we're not facing Russell. We're facing Geno Smith. What are your thoughts about Geno Smith?
He stinks, TJ. He stinks. But like I said, he sucks. He sucks at football.
He does. He's not very good. So their defense, this is great. Their defense is ranked dead last in the NFL. They give up 145 yards of rushing a game. That's where that's their average.
This is setting up for oh my God, Ben, you're like they're gonna go from the power rankings from 23rd to 7th. You're like, what the hell happened?
It's going to be great. Well, I mean, let's be real. They got a chance to move to 3-3 after this thing. So, it's definitely a very winnable game. We're getting healthier too. They got, they got Bush back. They got Cam Sutton back. They had, now I know that they're not full participants yet, but they had, I know they were kind of limited, but they still practice. You had Claypool back. You had, 13 back. What's his name again? Washington was back. Yeah, he was back. Even Carlos, his knee, he's back. He's limited, but he's back. You're adding more logs on the fire. We could be relatively healthy. I mean, now the loss of JUJU is a big deal, but I mean, I think we can replace JUJU.
I love JUJU, and I will say this. I don't know if you saw that video with him, at his foundation, what are crying that dude. His pain tolerance must be amazing because his mom was behind him rubbing his shoulder. TJ, I had a surgery similar to that. I wanted my wife to take me to the hospital the next day, and I was on pain meds.
I do remember that season too. That was pretty rough for you.
TJ, it's a miserable, just everything. You're miserable. And JUJU was he's speaking at a foundation. I'm going, wow. But
he was at practice today. He was hanging out at practice today.
It's unbelievable, TJ. I had ice on my shoulder 24/7, and they had up my pain meds. I was sitting as a vegetable for a week. I mean, seriously, an absolute.
Now,
vegetable.
How is that different than your normal week, Tim?
TJ, no, man. When I say vegetable, I'm talking I couldn't even I think a couple times my wife had to check my pulse to see if I was still alive.
That's great.
But the loss of JUJU. If you want my golf opinion, man, I think you're going to see the emergence of Freiermuth. You have to.
Yeah.
You have to. I think Ben wasn't looking Freiermuth's way a lot of times, and I'm seeing film and he's wide open because JUJU's there. He's a JUJU's dude. I got a feeling it's going to open the field for Freiermuth, and I have a feeling that it's going to me, and I know he's so good on the outside. I don't know why you're not going to put Claypool in the slot a little bit. He's a nightmare in the
he's
slot.
A vertical
he's
threat in the slot.
He's a vertical threat on the outside, but he's 20% catching the ball, but on the outside. But you put him in the inside, dude, you can't. What are you going to do? A backer can't line up on him. He's too big for safeties.
Yeah, he is.
To me, it's one of those things. It's I think you're going to see a lot more stuff exposed. Because I just think Ben was always kind of how Ben was with AB.
Yeah.
He forced balls to AB, forced them when other guys were wide open.
Yeah, no,
I just think this may open up the offense. I mean, I feel bad for JUJU. JUJU's a good kid, but I don't know, man.
Yeah. So give me an idea. So what do you think are some of the offensive keys for us against the Seahawks this week?
See, it's weird because they got Jamal Adams, who all he does is blitz, and he's a big safety and he comes down the box. So I think they're going to try to stop the run. I didn't understand Denver's game plan. I really didn't, because every team that's been playing the Steelers and beating the crap out of them been running. They've been running a cover 3, and they've just been loading the box because Ben couldn't throw over 10 yards.
Yeah.
Denver didn't do that. It just
No.
didn't make any sense to me. They seemed like they were running the cover 4 a lot and stuff like that. And they just didn't have 7 men in the box, 6 men in the box. I just didn't understand.
No.
I think this is going to be a game, truthfully, I think where the pass is going to open up the run.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think they're trying to bring Jamal Adams down. I don't think their corners are not good at all. They're just not good.
And their defense is not good. Yeah, they don't have a good defense.
But I got a feeling that's what you're going to see first. For some odd reason, I think you're going to see the pass to open up the run, and I think after that happens, floodgates are just going to open up, and Najee should have a pretty large game.
I think he's going to run for over 100 again. I think it'll be a good game. I think they got some mojo going with the offensive line. I think you're right. I think now they showed that you can run the ball, so now you have to commit to that. And even on film, what it does for us too, it opens up the play action pass, that's where you hit the big plays. That gives you the extra couple seconds you need to get that ball down the field. If they know they got to wait to see what Najee is going to do, that gives you extra time. So I think that'll be good. And I'm with you too. I think this is going to be the coming out party for Freiermuth. I think he's going to be. He catches almost everything that's thrown to him. And I'm anxious to see too. You know what? I would love to see Washington have a good game. I think it's been.
I think as the season goes on, he's going to be. You're going to be like, holy crap. I think put it this way. I think he's going to make himself a lot of money the rest of the season. I really do.
Good. I hope so. He seems like he's a good guy. He just hasn't had his opportunities yet. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I think that'll be great. Offensively, I think Ben, again, if he can stay in that 25 attempt area, I think we're in good shape. So what do you think about the defense? How do you think the defense is going to fare against old Geno?
TJ, they should tear this dude apart. Because I don't know if their running back's healthy. I mean, you got DK Metcalf scares the crap out of me, but I don't think Geno Smith can get him the ball.
Boy, Metcalf is a man. He's a
beast. Lockett, they got a good receiver. They got Lockett, they got him. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Geno Smith stinks, TJ. He stinks. Yeah. He's worse than Teddy Bridgewater. He stinks. They should manhandle him. They should go. Seattle's coming all the way from Seattle. It's a Sunday night. It's in Pittsburgh. The Steelers' defense should be on fire, and I expect to see that. I expect to be like, holy crap, Steelers' defense is again. It's like the Price is Right game. And eventually they're just gonna fall back down. Just tell me. I think this is gonna be a complete game.
Mm-hmm.
Both sides.
I think you're right. Yeah. I think it'll be a good game, and we'll talk about predictions and stuff a little bit later. If we do this, the nice thing is we move to 3-3, and it's a different ball game.
TJ, I will say this though, dude. I mean, I thought the Mush curse was maybe sliding a little bit. Mush is back in full effect. I mean, Steelers were rolling that Denver game. I mean, TJ, they were rolling. I'm not exaggerating. Mush texted me 30 seconds before Ben fumbled. I'm going, this dude, and I don't hear anything wrestling for the rest of the game until like the fourth quarter. I'm like, this dude has something.
You may have to set some limits on this guy. Say, listen, man, you can't during the game. You got to go radio silent.
It doesn't work.
You may have
TJ,
to dig into your pockets.
You know what he'd do? He'd be like John Cusack at the outside my window with a big boom box. Like,
well, we got to figure out a way to interact.
Bear Week is going to be incredible. Me and him are just we may kill each other during Bear Week. We have we may have something set up special for Bear Week because Mush is a quote unquote Bear fan.
Is he a Bear fan, really?
Yeah, his wife's from Pittsburgh, but he's from here. He's a Bear fan.
Maybe we should bring him on the podcast.
I do, and maybe
as a special guest. Maybe we'll bring him.
That podcast may turn into like the James Harrison commercial where he's chasing that guy around the living room. That'd be me chasing him around.
Well, that'd be great. All right. Well, before we give you our score predictions and stuff, let's open up the Yinzer mailbag. What is the Yinzer mailbag, you may ask? It's when you, the fan, get to ask us, the Yinzer Bros, anything you want to know about the Steelers, about our personal lives that are very exotic, Anything. You can send your questions to yinzerbros@gmail.com. And again, if you're lucky enough, we may actually read your question and answer it on our national podcast. Tim, what do we have in the Yinzer mailbag today? It's national.
We got a. You didn't see this. I think the Mush kind of snuck something in before the podcast. So we got some questions from him. We got some other questions too. I'll try to pick out the best ones at the top of my brain.
Pick out the best ones.
I don't know if I should even go into this story. I'm also beginning to think that, I don't know. Like Saturday night, I heard a big loud thump, 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 thump outside my house.
Yeah.
Happened to be a mouse got stuck in my air conditioning thingy.
Oh, that's true. That's true. You had a creature attack your house, Tim.
Yeah, and it was bad. It was ugly. The mouse did not survive. I mean, got me thinking, do I got to sacrifice a mouse every Saturday night before the Steelers play?
You can get them. You can, it's taking it for the team, Tim.
TJ, it's crossed my mind. It's sickly. It has.
It's a small price to pay for a championship to Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
I'm sure our fans, our many fans would support that financially, Tim.
Yeah, it's great. That's all I need is Pete to sit outside my house, ready to take
We are a
everything
national
from me.
podcast, so I'm sure they're monitoring even what we're talking about right now.
I'm sure we're like number 4 on Peter's
probably
board.
We're probably the Yinzer Bros, probably.
Yeah, of course. I'll start off. How many throws does Ben have left in his arm? You want to answer that? You want to take that?
I don't know. I'll tell you what. I like him at the 25 range. If he's got to chuck the ball 40 times, he's just not going to make it. He's not as accurate as he used to be. But I still think it's lower body issues. I don't think it's his arm.
Did you see that big pad he was wearing on his hip?
I did.
I mean,
that reminded me of football. I was playing football in like '86, Tim. You remember the pads that they gave us, those hip pads?
The big girdle pads, yeah.
I mean, I thought it was like, it took me back. Gateway Gators, 1986. That's what I felt.
It just like when they was zoomed in on it, like that's how you see Ben. Dude, he has the lower body of like an 80-year-old woman.
He does.
Rear end he looked like he was ginormous. Even with, it was insane.
He does. I hope that when he retires, he can walk. Because he's taking a lot of abuse.
TJ, I'm sure the $400 million that he's collected from the Pittsburgh Steelers will be able to he could buy new legs.
Probably. Yeah, what else you got in the Yinzer mailbag?
You think JUJU will ever play down again for the Pittsburgh Steelers?
Well, we know last year he had the opportunity to leave, and he didn't. I don't think he got the the reaction he thought he would. So he came back to Pittsburgh. So this was a big year for him. I think the $1 million question is this. Here's the reality. We got to think about this, Tim. He's not the same JUJU that had his bike stolen. He's getting older, right? How old is he now? He's going to be 26.
No, he's like 25, 24.
Oh, 25. So, I mean, he's a big, strong receiver.
I believe he was still the youngest receiver in the receiver room.
Really?
I believe he was because he came to the league like super young, like 19.
Well, he's not that now, though. He used to be.
I think he's like 24. I think he is.
Well, he came in. How long have we had him for? He was with AB for what, 2 years?
It's a 6 year.
19,
21, 2.
So he's got to be at least 25 now, 26.
I think he's 25.
If we had a producer, they could look up the thing, but we don't have a producer. It's just us.
We do have a producer. I don't know what he does. What happened to
that's
producer?
True. Tyler. Yeah,
producer Ty.
I don't know what he's not. I don't even know if he listens to the podcast, Tim.
He doesn't. It's sad.
It is. I would say this. This would be my thoughts. Is somebody out there going to pay him stupid money to take a chance on him? He's not. I don't put him as an outside receiver. He's a big inside slot guy that is made to take abuse. I would say this. It depends who the Steeler quarterback is next year. Let's be real.
It does. You mean to tell me if 12 and his beautiful, I don't know, what is that, a sandy blonde look now, brown hair? What is that?
I'll tell you what, he needs a haircut. He looks like a homeless man.
No, he doesn't. TJ, he can wear
he looks like a homeless
he
man.
wants. TJ, he kind of reminds me of the guy in my picture right here, but behind me. That's why
he got that, but he's got that, like, what do they call that top thing that the guys wear in their head? That little top knot thing? Oh, gosh.
A bun? I would kill.
The man bun?
TJ, I would kill to have a bun.
Well, but Tim, you said sayonara to your hair a long time ago.
Yeah, I did. But I think it depends who the quarterback is, truthfully.
I think he's gone. I don't think we'll see him in a Steeler uniform again, unless he comes back super cheap next year.
That's what I'm saying is like I don't see him making. I don't think he's making like more than he made this year, eight
No.
million.
Oh, I don't think he's going to make even that much. Let
So
me
to
ask you a
me,
question. If he's 8, I think he's gone. But if he comes back for 3 or 4, do you bring him back?
oh, if it's 3 or 4, yeah, of course I do. But I don't think he's going to come back for that. I think you'd have to keep him in that. For him to stay, I think he's still going to get like 7-8 million bucks. But my
I
big
see.
thing is if
At
you're
8, I don't know
him,
if I want him. Yeah.
TJ, if you pair him with the receivers you got now and say you do have Aaron Rodgers,
Well, let's just say this. What if Fryermuth comes out? I mean, what if he is ridiculous?
I mean, yeah, but if you can get Juju back for $8 million and you don't got to pay the other two receivers, they're still on their deals. Why not?
Maybe,
You get a
maybe.
bunch of cap room,
I
unless they're going to
think.
make some splash and get Devontae Adams,
Well, I
which
mean,
we all might go.
we have a lot of
Oh,
receivers. I think they could use that money in other places. Like I would love to see them invest that money in a couple linemen, maybe, or maybe like a defensive tackle.
I agree. I agree.
You
Like
know,
Geno Atkins. Yeah.
yeah, maybe that'd be great.
All right. Another good question here. Why is Tomlin tampering with Rodgers? Isn't this illegal?
I love it. I love the beginning of it. You gotta love the code that Rogers is throwing out there on the real national podcast. And you just gotta love I mean, even when they asked him, they said, hey, when they asked Tomlin, they said, hey, would you work with a rookie or bring in a veteran? What did he say? Bring in the vet. I would love to work with a veteran, a QB.
Did you kind of hear what he said during his press conference?
What did he say?
They asked him something about defenses with quarterbacks, and it was going back to the Green Bay game. He's like, when you got special guys like the first guy that came out of his mouth was Aaron Rodgers. There's a first name, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady. But the first name was Aaron Rodgers. I'm going, dude. There's just too. I don't know, man.
Hey,
It's
you
just.
butter the bread. You set the table. We're setting the table.
I mean, dude, if he comes here, I don't know what I'm gonna do.
You know
I
what? It's
just,
turning into a possibility. Well, and
I
here's another guy
know,
that might be available too. And I've
I
heard
know
rumors
who
of
you're
this.
gonna
It's
say
Russell
too.
Wilson may be available too.
I think he's too Hollywood. I don't think him and Sierra will be coming to Pittsburgh, but I could see Rogers doing that. I mean, you're going from one organization to the next. I mean, I don't know. If you want to play with
So,
Tomlin,
so
maybe he does.
here's the
We'll
curveball
know.
for
We'll
Russell
know.
Wilson.
If Russ is at the game in Pittsburgh and him and Tomlin are making googly eyes too, I'll be like, what's up, man? This
Well, and I know people struggle with some people struggle with Tomlin, but I tell you what, players want to play for him.
I
And
know.
he's a high character guy,
TJ,
and players want to
I'm
play
not a
for him.
fan of Tomlin. You know, I've never been, but dude, if he can get me Aaron Rodgers or somebody like that, that's my guy. He's my guy.
He may get a Christmas card from you this year, huh? No,
I
I say
will.
bring on the bromance. Bring on the bromance.
Yes. Let me think here. Who is the best number 2 running back for the Steelers?
Oh, that's awful. We got a number 1. Who's number
Well,
2?
I think the dude. What's his name? Shovel feet. What I'm calling him?
Balaj? Is that who you're talking about?
No,
Balaj?
Balaj.
McFarland?
Balaj looked bad.
Yeah, he did look good. He did
He
look
looked
good at
worse than
all.
Benny Snell.
He did, which is tough because Benny
I
Snell's
mean,
pretty much the bottom.
when I knew Benny Snell was getting the majority of the rock the rest of that game,
Oh, that scares me.
I was holding on my breath every time he touched the ball. I'm going, here
Well,
comes
don't
the
you feel like
fumble.
I know every time he gets the ball, don't you expect a fumble? I expect a
I
fumble.
do all the time.
So
All the
do you
time.
think McFarland's going to be any better?
Yeah, has to be TJ. I mean, you got to be. I guess. I don't know.
I would say
It,
probably that. I mean, unfortunately, right now the number 2 guy is McFarland, or not
I
McFarland. It is
I don't
Benny
think I don't
Benny
think I don't think
Snell,
he's
but
going to
it's
be
bad.
because I believe tomorrow they are letting McFarland talk to the media. So I have a weird feeling that he will be activated for Sunday and he'll be your number 2. And I think
Beautiful.
he's going to make. And I think he may make another dimension to the offense. He's a little bit faster, shiftier guy.
He is. He's not super
Might
big, but he's fast, which I
because
think Matt Canada loves that.
the things I'm putting 2 and 2 together is the dude they gave up a 5th-round pick for from Seattle. Who I mean, that dude's they he that dude sucks. TJ, he stinks.
Yeah,
They
he's not very good.
he didn't practice today. They gave him like a day off. That's basically tells me, dude, you're about to be either released. He's either going to get released, TJ, or he's going to be what I would do is I would try to trade him to right now. Tampa has no corners. You try to get a 7th round pick or something because that dude stinks.
So is this like, if you buy a car and it doesn't work out, can you take it back
Like
to
the
the
lemon
dealership?
law? That dude.
Can you just get your pick back? Say, I'm sorry, we screwed this thing up. Can we just have our pick back? Can we do that?
TJ, the one time I saw him on the field, he was getting burned. It was the one time.
Which is a shame. 'Cause he looks like he should be amazing.
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't.
Tim, what else you got in the Yinzer mailbag?
He stinks. Is there any way? No, let me see what we got here. There's so much. Stephon Tuitt has been working out lately. Is there any chance he will play for the Steelers this year? I don't, dude. Look, what the hell are you doing if you're working out? I don't. You have to play at some point, right?
So what's the IR rule? Like, if
I don't know.
Can't come back. Is he done for the year?
The last picture I saw, he looks like he's like my height, my weight right now, like about 225. I'm going.
I like how you snuck that in, Tim. My weight about two and a quarter.
If you want to be tactical, about 223. Like I weighed myself the other day, but like a fish.
Was that? Were you clothed or naked, Tim?
I was in the nude when I was 223. But I think the official, unofficial weight at the doctor's office a couple weeks ago was like 225. Trust me, it shocked me too. I had fully closed. I mean, I was pulling out keys and everything else in my pockets, but I was fully closed.
Hey, you got to do what you got to do to get there.
When I stepped on that scale, I was like, "Whoa!" I was like, "Maybe this thing's." I actually asked the nurse. I was like, "We sure this one's is straight?" Like, trust me. That was the first thing I was going to tell, send to the family because, I mean, for the people that don't know, for some odd apparent reason, everybody thinks I'm like 265, 270. I'm like, no, I'm not.
Oh, you can only dream.
I mean, you don't understand. I'm trying. I'm not going to be 265, 270 because I am permanently trying to run away from the diabetes. That's what I'm trying to do.
I'm going to say this just because of how mums and quiet the organization is. I don't think he plays it down for the Steelers this year. I think they'll put him permanently in the IR this year, and then they got some decisions to make for next year.
We'll see. I think.
I hope he comes back. I hope he does.
I mean, I think he can stay in the IR as long as one. I think they have to activate him at some point. Once they activate him, he gets 20-something days to do that. So I think he can stay on the IR until they actually activate him. I don't know how the hell that works. I'm taking a wild guess.
I hope we need him because, I mean, we need him, but we need the old Stephon Tuitt. But let's just be real, too. He's been kind of injury prone, too, hasn't he?
TJ, I don't care. At 225, he's better than anybody we're throwing out there now, Bugs and Bordeaux.
Okay. What was the long-haired white guy, the long-haired guy that we had this week?
Bordeaux, whatever his name is.
His name? That's a bad hair look for him. That's a bad hair look.
I think it was this guy, actually.
It's a bad hair look, man. It's bad.
We'll pick one more here because it'll sort of get a little bit late. How do I feel about John Gruden's resignation?
Oh, that's a big thing. Holy cow. What are your thoughts about that, Tim?
Not good, TJ. But the thing is, like, it's sad that he's taking the sword for the whole entire Washington football team organization. Because to me, those were the emails basically between the Washington president. You can't tell me Dan Snyder. It's funny to me, TJ. It's like he makes fun of all the other stuff too, but the other stuff was bad, very bad. But like the NFL was just leaking stuff out because he said something about the commish. You can't tell me like Dan Snyder, like that was something. It just, you know what I mean? There's something has to be. I don't know how Dan Snyder's still an owner in the NFL.
I agree. I mean, you know that the communication was not one way.
Yeah.
Or somebody should have. I mean, did you hear the amount of emails that they sifted through? And we're not talking about like one email from Gruden.
Oh, TJ, you can't tell me every NFL executive like Monday they had their tech guys weren't just scrubbing stuff.
You're right. I mean, it was like CSI. You're right. It's sad. It is sad to think that they still deal with that stuff, and
it's terrible. I mean, it's terrible.
Yeah, but I think it kind of reminds me a little bit of I think every once in a while the NFL will pick a scapegoat, and I'm not saying, I mean, what he did was awful. I'm not calling him a scapegoat, but he cannot be the only one.
No, No, I mean, from the little that I know, reading, and I got somebody kind of told me some stuff that may know a little bit more. It's like I mean, you know, I don't know how he was just the guy that, like you said, was escaping for the whole thing. It doesn't make it. I think everybody's missing the big picture, which this all happened under the Washington football team's roof.
Yeah.
That's how they found the Gruden emails. If you don't know, that's how they were
Yeah.
uncovered.
It was
So
part of the investigation. Yeah.
something
And
doesn't make
nobody from
something doesn't make
Washington,
sense to me.
nobody from the Washington football team is indicted for anything.
I think the only person that got slapped in their hands was at the time was I was a GM or president there. I don't know what the heck his name is, but still, I'm going. Come on, dude. I mean, come on. Something doesn't. You can't tell me Dan Snyder has nothing. I mean,
Yeah. They definitely have to fix it. It's a shame because you think that they're beyond stuff like that. And again, he trashed everybody. I mean, it was like there was no.
I know there was no ifs and buts about it. I mean, what he said, some of the stuff he said, what you read was like, dude, that's incredible. I mean, it's disgusting. It's a disgusting. But it's just like on the flip side is he can't be the only one to take the
No.
fall for that.
No. So, what did you think of Tomlin's response?
It was a Tomlin response that I expected. I mean, it was it was mature, and it was, what I expected. I thought what the guy said from the Chargers, the head coach, have you heard what he said?
No, what did
It
he
was,
say?
it was very, it was all, you gotta it's kind of hard for me to explain what he said. It was, you did go watch it yourself. It was very to the point, but it was perfectly said, what he said about those situations. So, I mean, yeah, but it just sucks because, you wonder how many other people have skeletons in their closet that are not being exposed.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think everybody. I mean, I think everybody has moments of weakness. I think what you see with Gruden is a pattern of you can't have that many emails and trash that many people. Just there's so much hate. I do
Okay.
like. I'm again and again coaching styles and what you think of how he coaches is one thing, but it makes me proud to have at least a coach that has good character. I think Tomlin's a high character guy. I think he's a good leader of men. I think you know where he stands with things. And I just, even I mean, I got to say this. I think the Rooneys, I think that they're a good organization. I like what they've done, specifically to help, different minorities and stuff like that in the league.
Mhm.
And it's just a good thing. So I am curious. I think this is just the tip of the iceberg. I'm curious how many more of these little things are going to drop because now that in our culture time that they've got a taste for this, I wonder how deep the rabbit hole is going to go.
I don't think it's going to go that far because I think the NFL, dude, the NFL, I think they're more powerful than state government, for God's sake. I mean, they just make things go away like this, So I think they pick and choose what they want to do, what avenue they want to do. They don't want this heat, and for me, the most crazy thing was out of nowhere. The Washington football team wasn't even planned. We're gonna retire Sean Taylor's number this Sunday. They gave it came out today that they were doing that Sunday. Does that
That's
when
crazy.
somebody's gonna get Ring of Honor retired? That's like a you know about that for a year.
Yeah.
That just tells you like the organization. It's like, dude, it's something.
Yeah. They're like a
You
dumpster
know,
fire. Did you see they pulled Gruden down off the Ring of Honor in Tampa Bay?
I mean, yeah, it's a bit much. I mean, I'm sorry. That's like saying, okay, you get O.J. Simpson in the Hall of Fame. Should
Yeah,
he be? I mean,
that's true.
it's 100% true. He killed humans. Ray Lewis, I'm still convinced he killed humans. He's in the Hall of Fame too.
He's one of those guys when he tells you he's going to kill you on the football field. It's a legitimate threat, Tim. It's a
TJ, I
threat.
saw him come out. I saw him come out for one of the Raven games earlier this year. I'm like, this dude could still suit up and he would be terrorizing people.
He's a tough big dude. All right. I think that does it for the Yinzer mailbag. Again, if you've got any questions, anything you'd like to ask, you can email us at yinzerbros@gmail.com. And if you're lucky enough, we'll put you on the air. Let's talk again about the Steelers and the Seahawks. Tim, what is your mighty score prediction for the game?
I'm going to say 31-9. No, that's a crazy score. 30. I'm going to say 31-17.
31-17. That's a good one. I'm going to say 31-10. I think the Steeler defense is going to come up big, and I think they're going to have a good game. So who's your offensive player of the game to this game?
Deontay Johnson.
Ooh, I like that. I like that. You think he's going to go
TJ,
for over 100 yards?
TJ, I'm trying to avoid people that I think it's going to be, because every time I pick those people, well, Claypool, I picked Claypool last week, and he had a pretty, besides Najee, he had a pretty good game. But I try to stay away from the guys that I think that are actually going to, that I think are going to do good, because I feel that I curse them, that I mush them. So I'm just going to pick Deontay Johnson.
I'm picking Najee Harris, and I'm going to predict this. He's going to run for $150.
I hope so.
Plus or minus 10, $140, $160. He's going to have 2 or 3 breaks. He's going to get into the
Russian. What are you talking? Are you talking about overall?
I'm just talking pure Russian. I mean, I think you'll throw in another, 20 to 30, passing, and I don't think he's not going to have 30 carries. I think he's going to do it on 19 carries, maybe 22 carries, because he's going to have at least 3 runs of 20 yards or more.
TJ, if I see him, if they're up 31-7 in the fourth quarter, and I see him in the game and Tomlin running him, I am going to, my head will pop off.
I think he's going to have some big runs early, and I think, best case scenario, you'll see some of our lesser backs later in. So who's your defensive player of the game?
My defensive player of the game, I'm going to be, that was such an awful pick last week. I picked Schobert last week. What a terrible pick that was.
It was. Yeah, it wasn't very good at all.
I'm going to say my player of the game, I'm going to say TJ Watt. I think he's going to have it. Usually when the lights are the brightest, he comes out to play. And Sunday night, I think he's going to have a good game.
I'm with you. I think it's going to be TJ. I think he's going to be relentless. I think Smith is going to be seeing ghosts out there, and I'm thinking that they're going to have maybe 3 takeaways this game, maybe a fumble recovery, at least 1 or 2 picks.
Wouldn't stun me. Wouldn't stun me at all.
Maybe Mika will show up big too. I don't know.
We say all this crap, dude. You know what's going to happen. Me and you're going to be texting the fourth quarter. I'm being going, what the hell is happening?
That's usually how it goes. I think it's going to be a good game. It's going to be I think it's going to be a good thing. But I'll tell you what, it would be great for us to get into the bye at 3-3. We get a little healthier.
If you had told me 2 weeks ago there'll be 3-3 going to the bye, I'd be outside running nude through the Wheaton streets.
Wouldn't it be great if they're 3-3 going into the bye, and somehow we get some news on Tuitt, and we actually have a start date for him on the backside of the bye? You throw him into the mix, man. We're scary.
TJ, they go 3-3 to this bye. You got 2 weeks of immense hype with the Brownies. And if they beat Cleveland in Cleveland, our next podcast that we may not put on to YouTube, because I am going to be, there may not be I may throw the F-bomb out every 3 words, because I'm going to be it's the greatest thing ever.
Well, I hope we win, but I don't, that could be a lot. Tim, anything else you want to add on the podcast tonight? We've covered a lot of ground today.
No, I mean, I feel happy. I was able to have a normal week. Like Monday, I was happy. Tuesday,
when they win, it's nice. A good week. When they win, it's a good week. When you don't have to avoid the media, you don't have to avoid any of the stuff. You can just embrace all the stuff that's going on. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, that does it for the Yinzer Brothers podcast today. Again, we're the Yinzer Bros. If you like what you hear, please invite your friends, your families, your enemies, anybody else to join our podcast. Like it, subscribe, do whatever you need to do. Again, I'm TJ. I'm here with my brother Tim, and we are the Yinzer Bros. Stay classy, Pittsburgh.
Still number 1 out here, right?
I love that. Jesus affirms that for you, Tim.
He does.
We'll see you guys. Bye.